Hello, my name is Shruti Chandra. I am currently a research assistant at Northwestern's Meslem Center for Cognitive Neurology and Alzheimer's Disease. Bit of a mouthful, but lots of interesting work. During my undergraduate degree, I studied neuroscience and mental health with a minor in statistics. I currently have about 3 years of clinical and research experience in various topics, including toxicology, oncology, and neurology, but my research interests have always lain with mental health, specifically using biological and scientific frameworks to better understand psychosocial patterns of mental health and well-being. In undergraduate, my honors thesis project was a series of knowledge translation presentations in mental health topics. We practiced disseminating a variety of mental health topics to diverse populations that one might not normally think of for mental health presentations, such as evaluating the mental health effects of violent video games in a presentation to 5th graders, or also discussing the impact of mindfulness meditation in a formal poster presentation. My biggest project examined the antidepressive effects of psilocybin in a neurobiological context. Throughout all of my projects, including ethno-racial and socio-political lenses, has always been important to me. For example, something I came across was that there's very little Black, Indigenous, and people of color representation in psychedelic research. This was key in my understanding of the efficacy of alternative or psychedelic mental health interventions. It is my understanding that the majority of our neuropsychiatric research has been conducted in fairly homogeneous populations that don't reflect the true diversity of our population, nor do they account for the many nuances of how intersectionality affects the efficacy of different interventions. For example, cultural differences in care-seeking behaviors, sociocultural stigma related to mental illness, both implicit and explicit biases from providers, and other structural factors at the health system, community, and policy levels can all affect treatment-seeking behaviors and treatment outcomes. Minority health has always been important to me, even outside of my professional or academic career. From volunteering at a health clinic in Bolivia to help assess diabetes interventions, to starting a chapter of the Stem Cell Club in my university dedicated to diversifying the stem cell donor base, I was constantly and am constantly pushing for more inclusivity and diversity in clinical and research contexts. As a result, I have been very mindful in selecting a career path. Incorporating both clinical and academic research aspects was very important to me, as without specific research initiatives, the same problems in clinical interventions will persist. Furthermore, the ability to constantly be utilizing intersectional socio-political lenses is very important to me. For this reason, entirely medical or entirely research-oriented paths were ruled out, as oftentimes clinical paths like clinical psychology or neuropsychology will prioritize treatment protocol and environmental control and observation and intervention over diversity and intersectionality. This is how I found the counseling psychology PhD. Counseling psychology allows me as both a practitioner and a researcher to take into account emotional, social, and physical stressors when designing studies and interventions. At my first Loyola grad school event, I heard a current graduate student say, "Marginalized populations are constantly being harmed by the systems of our world. It is our job as counseling psychologists to learn how to heal these populations within these systems." This is what drew me to this program specifically. I want to be surrounded by minds who challenge me and teach me, but also by minds who prioritize well-being the same way that I do, who understand that clinical and academic systems cannot be one-size-fits-all, as our current ones often are, and that social justice is not just a part-time lens, but a requirement for all learning, treatment, and research. I look forward to exploring new populations and cultures and considering lenses that I have not before, and I am most excited to bring my own knowledge and lived experience to the table so I can give a voice to populations who may not always be represented in these spaces and use my privilege to uplift others. Thank you, Loyola, so much for this opportunity to interview and learn from such brilliant minds of my peers and the faculty, and I absolutely cannot wait to learn more and meet all of you.